are listening to Living Lighter Radio. I'm Jason.
And I'm Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio.
Living Lighter provides a revolutionary way to address what's truly holding you back. We have the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter.
Join us now for a Living Lighter experience. This is Living Lighter Radio, and I'm Patricia. I'm here with my husband, Jason, and today we're talking about migraine headaches and effective solutions. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. So, I want to share my personal experience with migraines with the audience today and what Jason and I did to overcome them.
So I'll give the audience the background first.
Sure.
Which was, it wasn't about migraines. We had found out suddenly that Patricia needed to have her heart valve replaced. And if, as many of you know, that's open heart surgery. It's very serious. When she had it, they actually cracked her open, and they replaced the valve, aortic valve replacement. And
by the way, very grateful for that.
Yes, and it worked really well. But because we understand energy, one of the first things that happened, it was just like a couple of weeks after, not even that.
No, not even that.
Yeah, after she came home from the hospital, that she got her first migraine. And I remember seeing her there. I mean, she said, "I'm dying," and called 911, which I did. So tell how the first migraine felt.
Well, first off, it was the worst pain I had ever experienced in my life. And I've been through childbirth. I've been through heart surgery. I've been through a few other things. And to say the least, nothing stopped me in my tracks like this did. And this pain that it started kind of in my mid back and went right up over the top of my head. It grabbed a hold of me to the point of where I thought I might be paralyzed. I had no idea. I thought maybe I was having a stroke. I wasn't sure. But I told Jason in a very calm voice, and by the way, anybody that knows me, I'm not a calm person.
Yeah, I knew something was wrong because it was calm. You know?
Yes, I was calm, and I said, "You need to call 911. I think I'm dying." And it was one of the scariest moments of my life.
So, after one of the first things they did is they sent her to a neurologist, and they ruled out the obvious things: brain tumor, blood clot, stroke. Mm-hmm. And but there were 3 trips to the ER where we had to call 911. Mm-hmm. So after they ruled out everything else, she had this really strong migraine, and there was actually a series of 3, and all 3 we went to the ER.
Well, and I was having smaller ones in between, and what they did diagnose that I did have cluster migraine headaches.
So, and for us, the diagnosis isn't important because we look at the energy. Mm-hmm. And of course, they gave her really strong drugs that had very serious side effects.
Yes. That didn't help.
We were thinking this is no way to live.
Yeah.
But so the way we approach migraines, if you go to a doctor, he tries to he or she tries to do a history so they can understand the condition, the migraine.
Right.
We do it just the opposite. When if someone comes to us and says, "I'm struggling with migraine headaches," it's not about the condition. It's about their emotions, their negative emotions, and what we call their emotional story. Right. Now, we talked a lot about this in our last radio show about difficult diagnoses, and migraines is a difficult diagnosis. So you can go back and listen to that for some more information.
Because for each person, it could be a different reason.
Exactly. We each have our own unique emotional story.
Exactly.
But if you understand the negative energies
and how it shows up,
and how it's manifesting,
right?
Then you can be very specific and start to remove that negative energy. Mm-hmm. Now, this is probably a spoiler alert, but she doesn't have migraines anymore.
No.
And we cleared, and it worked. Now, that was kind of fast. And frankly, the negative energy went from her heart valve to the migraines. And now she has a form of vertigo with Meniere's disease.
Which is the same energy, everyone.
And it's just manifesting in a different way, and we're clearing it in a little bit different way.
Yes.
But it's really, really important. The mind-body connection is always central to migraines, even if there's a physical reason, like a blood clot or a brain tumor.
Or you've gotten hit in the head or whatever.
Yes. Clearing the negative energy is always the best thing you could do for the best outcome.
Yeah. And whether you use medical or even natural medicine, it doesn't matter. Clearing is an amazing addition to whatever else you could be doing, or if you're doing nothing at all.
And it gets the root.
It does. And that's the key more than anything.
The way we do it is understanding your personal story, which is the key to understanding your emotions. Mm-hmm. And it's not when I say personal story, I'm not talking about, when Patricia was in kindergarten, she did this. And
or what I had for lunch. Yes, that kind of thing. Okay.
It has to do with how she felt about her life and the people around her and growing up, and whether, the difficulties that she had and the support that she had or didn't have, all those are part of your emotional story. And again, this is all mind-body stuff.
And I'm just going to reiterate one more time. The bottom line is your personal story is talking to you. It talks to you all the time.
So for Patricia, let's make it real here. We're using as an example.
Okay.
Her heart valve was an imbalance of giving and receiving. She always, for all sorts of reasons, we don't have to go into that now, but she always felt she had to give a lot just to get a little bit.
Right.
And that imbalance was reflected in the metaphor of the heart valve, where there was a buildup of pressure on one side, but there wasn't enough blood going to the other side. Mm-hmm. And there was an imbalance.
Right.
And it's a perfect metaphor. But after that was repaired, all the fear of changing, for example, as I said, she grew up where she had to give out a lot and just, and only get a little bit in return. But what kept that in place all those years was terror of changing that story.
Well,
or that rule or that belief.
Exactly. And I remember, I just had this memory. I remember after the heart surgery, and this was right before the migraines started. I happened to be sitting outside. It was a beautiful October day, and I was sitting outside on the deck, and I was feeling guilty because I actually knew my heart was working better than it had in years.
Yes, that's a negative emotion.
Exactly.
That's not a message from her guidance. That was a negative emotion.
Yes. But the point is that
you can't get rid of me.
Exactly. Yes. You can't get rid of me. And then lo and behold, what happens? I start having migraine headaches.
Here's one of the biggest ideas for this segment.
Okay.
Traditional medicine always focuses on the symptoms and the condition.
Right.
They don't focus on the person, they focus on the condition. So you have a heart valve problem, you have a migraine problem, you have a rash, whatever it is. They focus on the condition. We always focus on the person.
Right.
What we say is that every condition, there's negative emotions that are underneath all of it. But here's the difference between traditional medicine and what we're doing here with the ecosystem approach. If she continued to have migraines and there was no physical cause, they would say, well, maybe you should go see a therapist because there's something with your emotions. And when you have a buildup of negative emotions, that does not mean you need a therapist. Now, my apologies to all the therapists out there.
Right.
But
we've actually worked with more than a few.
Yes. They've been our clients.
Yes.
And we see this as a benefit to therapy. But just because you have a buildup of negative emotions does not mean you need to see a therapist. It doesn't mean you're crazy. It doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. You just need to remove the negative emotions. It sounds almost too simple.
And by doing and how do we do that, Jason?
With the ecosystem approach.
Exactly.
So, it's if you can take away from this segment that migraines start with negative emotions, and that anybody can focus on your negative emotions. And oh, by the way, all you have to do is continue to listen to us for the rest of the time. At the end, we're going to do some clearings to get you started with some of those negative emotions, and we're going to teach you how to help you with your migraines in the third segment.
Okay.
So before we go today, I just, today is Veterans Day, and I wanted to do a call out to other fellow veterans. I'm a vet, and especially those who have paid the ultimate price for our country, where they raised their hand and swore an allegiance to the Constitution. Vets, they defend our country, and they defend the freedoms that we have. Sure. And understanding all of that, and the fact that it's the Constitution and not a person, is really important.
I just want to second everything that my husband just said. And I not only want to thank the vets, but I want to thank the vets' families, because they're in service as well. And they have been through a lot as well. So I recommend to all of you, say thank you to a vet today and their family. Yes, Jason, what are the key points?
The source and root for migraine pain is always negative energy and emotions.
Okay.
Traditional medicine is not effective because they focus on the condition, not the unique emotions. That if you have migraines, begin to remove the negative energies attached to you. You don't have to go to therapy. You don't have to do any of that. And the ecosystem approach is a systematic way to remove negative energy and emotions in your life.
Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to talk about the misconceptions and ways people use to keep them from healing their migraines. This is Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
Conscious Confidence Radio, a timeless wisdom with Sarah Main. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio and join Sarah on an adventurous journey to the deeper level of meaning to move beyond today's world of constant change, confusion, and uncertainty beyond the shadow of fear. This hit show explores key concepts such as confidence, values, and attitude in a dynamic way. To learn more about Sarah and her work, visit sarahmain.com.
This is Debbie Pokornik with a break-free parenting tip. If you haven't been practicing active listening or are getting into some bad habits, it's a good idea to go back to the basics and remind yourself how to be a good listener. Here's an idea that might help. When your child comes to you with a story about her day, set aside whatever you're doing and give her your full attention. If you're in the middle of something that can't be put aside, tell her that you really want to be able to give her story your full attention and ask if you could continue the conversation at a specific time. So, for example, this sounds like an important story and I'd really like to give it my full attention. Can we talk about it in 10 minutes when supper's in the oven? Active listening might sound like common sense, but often it's these simple skills that get buried in our parenting pack and easily forgotten or overlooked. Challenge yourself to practice this skill for a full week and see if you notice a difference in how much your child is sharing.
For information and to work with Debbie, visit empoweringnrg.com.
Choose the new earth on the Cornelia Stephanie Show. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio as Cornelia takes listeners on an odyssey of higher consciousness to inspire, educate, and empower. Cornelia guides people on the path of self-healing, peace, and liberation. The Cornelia Stephanie Show is your catalyst for anchoring heaven on earth on a global scale. For more information, go to corneliastephanie.com.
This is Living Lighter Radio with Jason, and I'm Patricia. We're talking about misconceptions right now and ways people use to keep themselves from healing their migraines. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. So, Jason, can you help the audience understand, if you're having migraines, what the emotional problems are?
Well, yes, we all have emotional problems. And the point here is that we all have negative emotions. Even everyone, including us, has emotional problems. And if you don't think you have emotional problems, then you probably see yourself like a machine and have denied your human nature. We all have emotional problems. We're on this earth to have emotional problems and learn how to overcome them.
Wait, are you saying that I'm the one with emotional problems, Jason? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Huh?
We all have emotional problems, and I've said that to her before, but that's a whole different show.
The implication was not the same.
Yes. So we all have emotional problems, and the most evolved among us are constantly working with their blocks, which are negative emotions, to the growth that they want to use for evolution. Okay. The problem is the stigma. We think if we have negative emotions, you're crazy or dysfunctional, or that something's wrong. A lot of times our negative emotions are just messages. But if you have negative emotions, what we need to do, and this is kind of key to the ecosystem approach. Okay. We see that emotions are energies. And if they're energies, then they build up. If they're a thing, they build up. We think of emotions as something that we feel earlier today, but now we feel different. So that feeling went away, right? Right. Well, it didn't. Yeah. And I know every single one of us has connected to someone or even ourselves gone, I can't take this anymore. And what that is the buildup, the recognition of the buildup of negative emotions. Yes. So, that's, we're talking about in general. Yeah. This relates to migraines because they're always about our emotions. Yes. And whether you have a physical root from them, whether maybe you're getting migraines because you have a brain tumor, or I hope not. Yes, I hope that that's not you. But what if there's a physical cause for those migraines? It's still the negative emotions are at the root. Yes. Okay. So let's talk about the misconceptions. Okay. So, Jason, what are the misconceptions of migraine headaches? If you have a lot of negative emotions, that you're crazy, you're lesser than, you're a bad person. Okay. Everybody has negative emotions. It's not. It shouldn't be a stigma. Right. Well, it's kind of like the stigma of cancer. 20 years ago, there was a real stigma of cancer. You've had cancer, or oh my gosh, so-and-so has cancer. And now the stigma it's become less and less. Yes. And, but we still have the stigma about our emotions. Right. That if you have a lot of negative emotions and you want to go see a therapist, you're crazy, or there's something wrong with you, or you're neurotic, or whatever. The truth is we're all kind of all of those things, and we all have negative emotions. And as we clear away those negative emotions, we start to have clarity about our life. And we have a tool then to deal with our symptoms, which in this case is about migraines. Okay. So another misconception, that healthy people don't have negative emotions. Okay, do your thing. No, that is not true. If you think you're emotionally healthy and you don't have negative emotions, or that you don't have a negative emotions, they're there. Yeah. So that your life story is irrelevant. We hear this all the time. This is one of the biggest ones. The past is the past. There's nothing we can do about it, and there's no value going on there. Well, that's not true. Your life story is exactly relevant. But here's what most of those people that say this are thinking about. Okay. They're thinking about those people who indulge their emotions. Oh, my mother wasn't nice to me when I was a child, blah, blah, blah. Right. And therefore, it excuses all sorts of bad behavior. We're not talking about that. What we're saying is understanding how you grew up and where you came from and the things that you struggled with emotionally growing up are relevant so that you can clear them. Right. I'm not saying you should indulge yourself or reprocess them over and over again. Clear them. Yes. So that's a big one. Okay. What else? If you have to talk and relive your negative emotions and memories.
That's a misconception.
That's a misconception. It does
Okay.
come from therapy. You have to talk about it. There's a breakthrough. He was able to talk about it, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We see as intuitives that if you clear the negative emotions first, then you can talk about them if you haven't been able to in the past.
Right. Oh,
yes. And that the talking doesn't necessarily change the energy.
Well, and I don't mean to jump in here, but rape victims, one of the things that we see is that they really don't want to talk about it. But the truth is if we clear the negative emotions around and the stigmas around that particular trauma, then you would be amazed at the wonderful things that come out of it.
And if you're struggling with migraines, there could be a connection there.
Yes, by all means.
It's trauma that you haven't been able to work with in any way, and it's stuck there in your head.
Okay.
That if you here's a big one, that if you need therapy, you have negative emotions, and if you have negative emotions, you need therapy. Or that if you feel like you can't function in the world properly, that you need therapy. That's not necessarily true. Now, I want to say this to all the therapists out there. I see great benefit to therapy, but we also see that there's great benefit to using the ecosystem approach while you're doing therapy.
Yes.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you to become your own guru. So instead of trying to work it out with some other sounding board, you can start to do that inside yourself. And frankly, we're designed to be able to do that.
Okay. Jason, you have one more on your list here of misconceptions. Can you tell us what it is?
It's the biggest one.
Okay.
That you are a machine who just needs to be programmed, and migraines means that you have parts that need to be fixed.
That is total programming.
And it's totally false.
Okay.
You're not a machine.
Right.
Even though traditional medicine treats you like pieces that have to be fixed here and there and measurements that are out of whack, you're really a human being that has these complex and delicious emotions. Sometimes they build up and they get in your way. Mm-hmm. And because we're a programming society, we don't have a way to periodically clean out all the negative emotions that have built up in us, which is, of course, the whole reason that we just created the ecosystem approach.
Okay.
So let's do I want to give you guys an example before we go to the next segment about that's about Patricia's heart valve replacement and the migraines that she had as a result, and then that shifted to vertigo. That's all related to her emotional story. Okay. So people ask, well, what is an emotional story? And it's not very clear.
And here we go. This is a really good example.
It's not to say that you tell your story with emotion. It's about...
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, I know you can. After the heart valve replacement, the heart valve replacement was a metaphor for the imbalance of giving and receiving.
Correct.
So, but she was afraid to make that change, because even though at the time of the heart valve, she had really adjusted the amount of giving and receiving she had in her life by leaps and bounds, because we were clearing that.
Right.
That was part of her life story. Well, when that was replaced, when that valve was replaced, it released all the fear of changing the way it is.
Yes.
We see this with almost everybody that we work with, that they have these rules or these beliefs or fears that say, if we change this, something really bad's going to happen.
I won't know what to do. I won't know how to handle this. And I certainly won't know who I am or where I stand.
And it's rarely logical.
Yeah.
But that fear is huge. And that's what happened with her first migraine.
Yes.
We see it now in hindsight really clearly.
Well, and as I went through the migraines, I also saw how I abused myself with that thinking.
Yes. The guilt, the shame, I don't deserve to heal.
Excuse me, we should have said that, those emotions.
Yes. And the anger that I'm in this position, that I feel so broken because someone just ripped over my heart. Yeah. My rib cage. It was all those emotions are present.
Right.
So we cleared, and she went to the ER 3 times, with 2 times by ambulance, and one time I drove her. And then there was a few more migraines over a couple more months, and they went away.
Yes, they did.
And we were clearing. Now, this doesn't mean that everyone is going to have this result, because we're all unique, because we all have our own emotional story.
Right.
And frankly, that negative energy switched to Meniere's disease, which is a form of vertigo, vertigo and Meniere's disease, from Meniere's disease. So she's trying to keep her balance in a world that's changed for her dramatically.
Exactly.
That's the metaphor. That's the life story.
So thanks for that, Jason.
Yeah.
Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Everyone has emotional problems because of the buildup of negative emotions.
Okay.
The buildup of negative emotions is the result of a programming culture.
Mm-hmm.
Your emotional story is always the source of negative energy for all migraines.
Okay.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you to specifically clear exactly the energy for healing your migraines or anybody else that's close to you.
Okay. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to teach you how to start removing the negative energy that causes your migraine, and we will uncover your emotional story. This is Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
That moment when you realize you've mastered your wellness, or that you will never fall off the roller coaster of life? Well, yeah, me either. But I still ride unicorn. I will teach you how to become a mindset master. You will learn how your habits and behavior affect the success of your nutrition and exercise, relationships, organization, and so much more. Motivation doesn't arrive in an email, so stop waiting for it. You have to take action, then motivation follows. I am Coach Peggy Wells. Get out of your comfort zone and recognize the simple truth. We aren't that special. We all have crap to deal with, and we all have a lot more in common than not. I want to spark you into action. We will learn, love, and laugh together. So join me every first and third Monday at 3 p.m. Pacific for Couch, Couch, and Coffee Radio, where you will learn that being happy and healthy is way more than carrot sticks and squats. I'll talk to you later.
Disease, one of the most dreaded words in our vocabulary. Hi, I'm Mary Jane Mack. Did you know traditionally we have viewed disease as a degenerative process? Disease is better understood when we view it as dis-ease in the human body. Dis-ease means without ease. Health is not merely the absence of disease. It's when every part of the body works together effortlessly, relaxed and at ease. It's that relaxed state that lets energy flow in waves through and around the entire body. Every organ has an electrical charge, and when overcharged or undercharged, dis-ease occurs. And it is an effort to go through our day. We are able to determine the exact dis-ease of the body and design a specific solution to correct the nutritional imbalance. Contact us at 888-777-4232. That's 888-777-4232. And visit us at maryjanemack.com.
Sometimes being human has its challenges. Our physical health falters, our spirits sag, our dreams don't immediately come to fruition. Welcome to the power of Maximum Medicine Radio. Join me, Doc Martin, in conversations that will blow your mind about healing. In our hit show, Doc Martin addresses the scientific with bridging to the mystical approaches to give you a new narrative about maximum medicine. In this live call-in show, we will journey into the extraordinary genius of the human body and talk about other beliefs that impact being your multidimensional self. We seek the seen and the unseen and explore the earthbound and the otherworldly, all with the purpose of calling forth the maximum you. To learn more about Doc Martin and Maximum Medicine, visit www.sharonmartinmd.com.
With Jason, and I'm Patricia. We're going to teach you in this segment how to start removing the negative energy that causes your migraines, and we will uncover your emotional story. We use an ecosystem approach to you, which is much different than what you are commonly taught. We see human beings as ecosystems that need to be uncovered instead of programmed. Human potential becomes infinite with our ecosystem approach. Okay. So I know that most people would say they don't understand what emotions are creating their migraines or what their emotional story is so it can be cleared. Is there a simple way to get started, Jason, to figure this out?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a very forgiving process.
Very.
And there are some basic negative emotions that almost everyone has.
No, everyone does.
Yes. And if you start with these, then you will be, more will be revealed to you as you clear.
Mm-hmm.
The clearing process that we do is always revealing and creates more understanding for the person doing the clearing. I mean, we're designed to help ourselves in a lot of respect. We're designed to be our own guru. This is natural to us.
Yes.
Except that that natural process has been co-opted.
It's been programmed out of us
by saying, hey, you do this, and this, and everything will be okay.
Oh, and don't forget to take this pill.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And it doesn't work that way.
Yes, exactly. So, all right. So, Jason, what are the basic emotions? And by the way, everyone, this is the beginning right here for someone to say, okay, I'm going to take care of my life. I'm going to get started with the ecosystem approach right now.
So there's 3 sets, and they're basically the same. They're close cousins here.
Okay.
So here's the first one: anger and rage. Anger and rage are very similar.
Okay.
Second one: fear, terror.
Okay.
Very similar. Guilt and shame.
Okay.
And if you start clearing those 3 or those 6, you will start to reveal more emotions that are present during the migraines or anything else.
Okay.
And so again, we'll use you as an example.
Okay. Well, what I did, and at first Jason didn't like this, but he figured out that it worked for me. And by the way, it doesn't always work for everyone, but it does work.
Well, yeah, we're talking about when
I first started.
Yes.
And what I did was, after Jason had, cleared me for the first time, everything was dramatically different. I'm talking long before the migraine headaches or the heart or anything. I had a dramatic difference in my life. And I started to see immediately, whoa, I don't need this, but I want this, or I want that. Or I could see, I wanted things out there in my life that I could only dream about, but I wanted things. But one of them was I wanted positive emotional health. I wanted a healthy body. I wanted to be happy. And I realized that my emotions were standing in my way. My emotional story was standing in my way. So what I did, I broke it down simply for me. I made a list, and I took this list and I put this list on my mirror. And so every morning, my bathroom mirror. So every morning I got up and I cleared the emotions that were on the list. And in time, those emotions, they shifted a little, but I did basic emotions every single day. And by the way, I still do. Both Jason and I, we always go back to basics, and the basics, that we see are fear, anger, and guilt.
And you can make that specific.
Yes, you can.
I'm angry because someone spilled my coffee,
or threw my coffee out.
Yes, it's very specific, and then you don't feel angry about that anymore. You keep clearing anger, and you feel other things.
Yeah, it's. I can't begin to tell you how amazing this is, because you see that the clearing works for huge things. Ecosystem approach works for huge things, but it works for the little things, and it's the little things that we deal with every single day. But they get us to make the big things better.
We've worked with clients for so many years, and it's not like we've worked with a couple clients in person, but for the most part, it's on the telephone. And they don't lay down and talk like like you would with a therapy session or anything like that. But typically, we'll clear first, and then Patricia and I see what we see.
Right.
And then as we do that, the person, our client, starts to see their emotions, and then as they clear, they start to see their emotions. And some do better with that than others, but that's part of the process.
Exactly. And I always love the part where they go, oh, wow, I didn't see how that was connected, or I didn't know that I was feeling that much, but it feels much better now.
Or, I get this a lot. I'm not an angry person, so I shouldn't clear anger. Well, people that have that label typically are very angry because they push it. They have those angry feelings.
And they push it down.
Yes.
Yes.
So,
well, there's something else we can do here, though, Jason.
And so if you want to get started, you've got those three to six emotions: anger, rage, fear, terror, guilt, shame. Get started with those emotions. The other thing you can do is start listening to the radio show every week.
Yes.
All you have to do is tune in every week in our first segment. We always do clearings. And even if that clearing is in a topic that doesn't seem to relate to you that much or whatever, you can still do them and it'll still help you.
Yes.
Because a lot of those clearings are very generic.
Yes.
And you're clearing with a lot of people together. That's always kind of fun.
And you can always help somebody else.
Exactly. And here's the other thing, if you go to our newsletter, sign up for our newsletter for free. It's at livinglighter.org under the newsletter tab. It's really simple, but every week we have clearings in that newsletter.
Yes.
And you can follow along with those clearings, starting with this one. If you sign up right today, you'll get this week's newsletter about migraines.
Right.
And you can use that over and over and over again. Put it on your smartphone. Whenever you have a few minutes, do some clearing.
Print it out and put it on your bathroom mirror.
Yes.
It's in other words, whatever works for you is what we're talking about. But we know personally that the ecosystem approach works. And that is one of the most amazing things.
It's very powerful. And
very.
It's one of those things that works whether you believe it or not.
Yes.
A lot of stuff in the non-physical arena, the energy arena is kind of hocus pocus. This works, and we know it works, and it works whether you believe it, see it, all of that. Yes.
Yes. So, Jason, what are the key points of this segment?
Start with basic emotions to heal your migraines.
Okay.
Starting with anger, rage, fear, terror, guilt, shame is a great place to start for all migraines.
Okay.
Clearing the basic emotions will reveal the next steps and the emotions that are needed to clear.
Okay.
And the ecosystem approach teaches you the way to uncover your personal emotional story and heal current and future migraines.
Love it. So, Jason, let's teach those who haven't done this before, but also remind those who have how we do our energy work.
It's very simple. We call this clearing, and you can sit in any posture. It doesn't matter. Some people think they're being more effective by being reverent or in a lotus position. That's really not necessary. So use your imagination when we say to eliminate, and usually there's veils and illusions, barriers, or specific emotions. Just gather those things up in your body and blow them into an imaginary trash can. Now, if there's an actual trash can nearby, blow it into that. You don't have to stick your head over there. Just in your mind's eye, blow that energy in that direction. And then we go in the next emotion. It's that simple.
Okay. And then what we're going to do is then we're going to activate life force energy for you. And that life force energy, it is, first off, the most powerful energy that anyone has access to. That's the first thing. But the other thing is it helps us gain clarity, and it helps us maintain our love, or helps us learn to love ourselves. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate life force energy. We're going to take a breath. We're going to pull it in through the top of our head, and we're going to let it go all the way down our torso and our arms, all the way down to the tips of our toes. And then we stop it, turn it around, and any negative energy that's left over, what do we do with it? We pick it up in our mind's eye and blow it into the trash can, meaning we lift it up and blow it out. Stay tuned. When we come back, we're going to help you uncover your story and heal your difficult medical condition. Today, well, it could be a migraine, but it could be something else. This is Living Lighter with Jason and Patricia, with an ecosystem approach to your life. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly every Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio as we, Jason and Patricia, discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information about Living Lighter, visit www.livinglighter.org.
Healing has a ripple effect. One person's healing affects everyone around them. This is where the power of sharing our stories can be so important. Tune in to Playing on the Edge Radio with Megan Edge each month on Transformation Talk Radio as Megan provides you with ways of sustaining radical and powerful changes in your life. Enact the power of radical change. To find out more about Megan Edge, visit her website at meganedge.ca.
Sometimes being human has its challenges. Our physical health falters, our spirits sag, our dreams don't immediately come to fruition. Welcome to the power of Maximum Medicine Radio. Join me, Doc Martin, in conversations that will blow your mind about healing. In our hit show, Doc Martin addresses the scientific with bridging to the mystical approaches to give you a new narrative about maximum medicine. In this live call-in show, we will journey into the extraordinary genius of the human body and talk about other beliefs that impact being your multidimensional self. We seek the seen and the unseen and explore the earthbound and the otherworldly, all with the purpose of calling forth the maximum you. To learn more about Doc Martin and Maximum Medicine, visit www.sharonmartinmd.com.
This is Living Lighter Radio with Jason, and I'm Patricia. And in this segment, we're going to help you uncover your story and heal a difficult medical condition. Jason, you ready to get started?
Here we go. Now, if you have migraines or don't have migraines, it doesn't matter. First of all, the clearing process is very forgiving. You know, it's like learning how to be a gardener. You know, when you start, you just throw the seeds in the ground and pour some water on it and
hope for the best.
And hope for the best. And you learn, you know.
And you do.
There's nothing, if you don't do this exactly right, you're not going to be visited by any sort of dark entity or your life's going to fall apart. This is a very forgiving process. So Here we go. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to eliminate any anger and rage I have for any reason currently or from my past. Now gather up all that anger and rage in your body.
Take a breath.
And then take a gentle breath and blow it into the trash can.
And to eliminate any fear or terror I have for any reason now or from the past. Take a breath. Easy, easy. From the tips of your toes, take a breath, pull it up, and now blow it out.
And to eliminate the guilt or shame that I have now or in my past. Gather up that guilt and shame and then blow it gently into the processor.
And to eliminate any barriers so I can see my emotional story will be revealed in pieces over time, and it will make it easier for me to understand and deal with. Take a breath.
And to eliminate my numbness and confusion I have about my negative emotions and emotional story. Gather up all that numbness and confusion and blow it into the trash can. You know, Patricia and I understand each other's emotional story really well. And it's not like we just, you know, sit down and say, oh, we use it in the context of saying, well, what do we clear today?
Right.
And
that's one of the biggest things we do. Yes. How am I feeling? What do I need to clear today?
And so when we go out in the world and have an experience, we usually talk about how that affects us, in terms of our emotional story.
Exactly.
Most people are afraid of just that indulgence of, oh my gosh, they go on with they have alcoholism or whatever, that they keep going over and over and over with it.
Exactly.
And that's not what we're talking about at all.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go.
Okay.
And to eliminate any need I have to make my emotional story what it is in a special way versus what the reality is. Take a breath.
And to eliminate the guilt and shame I have, but my story and false belief that of my story. Let me say that one again. And to eliminate the guilt and shame I have about my story and the false belief that says I am my story. Take a breath. We don't have to be stuck in that. Blow it out. In other words, don't wear your story on your sleeve.
Yes. And to eliminate judging myself about my story versus seeing it as a negative energy that's attached to me.
Exactly.
You're not your story. Yes.
You're not your story. Take a breath. And to eliminate any anger I have about my life and wanting to forget and block it out. You know what? The best thing to do is just clear it, because just clearing it keeps you from getting stuck in that negative energy. Take a breath.
Yeah, obsessing about it or blocking it out, both don't work. We just clear it.
And what is Jason's ruminating about it definitely does not help at all.
And to eliminate the false belief that my anger, fear, or guilt helps me in my life, which is just an illusion. Take a breath.
So, and to eliminate the false belief that clearing my negative emotions will keep me from natural reactions or being able to be in the world or be able to handle my life, when the truth is that it's the exact opposite. Because when you start clearing away the negative energies, you gain clarity. When you have clarity, you can see what it is you need, what the situation needs. It's amazing. Take a nice breath and blow it out.
And to eliminate my compulsive need to choose a programming approach and ignore my negative emotions. Please don't do that. Gather up that compulsive need, blow it into the trash can.
Or I'm going to say this, if you find you have that compulsive need or you catch yourself in the middle of it, especially after you've been clearing, you know what? You can change that. You can take a breath and clear that compulsion. It's real simple. Take a breath.
People are afraid that if you clear fear, you'll be walking down the forest and there's a big rattlesnake coiled up just in front of you, that you won't be afraid. I guarantee you, your fear will kick in. You can clear fear for 30, 40 years. Your fear will kick in.
Wait, I can attest to that one, but we're not going to talk about the rattlesnake outside of my front door. Okay, that was a little bit of a surprise. Yes, my heart worked really well. So all right,
let's
Jason.
Activate life force.
We're having too much fun here, you guys. All right, so here we go. We're going to activate life force. I direct all my resources in all dimensions to activate life force so I can use life force for all that I need, want, desire, and deserve. Take a nice breath.
And to activate life force so that I can trust that removing negative energies in my life is essential to eliminating migraines.
Yes, I
and
attest
all sorts
to that
of other
one.
things.
Hallelujah. Yes. Take a breath. And to activate life force, remember, let it come in through the top of your head and let it go all the way down your body. And to activate life force so I can see my life in terms of emotions and energies, and my life story in terms of energies, and then remove whatever doesn't work for me anymore or whatever I'm stuck in. Take a nice breath in through the top of your head this time. Let it go all the way down your body to the tips of your toes. Turn it around and blow out any negative energies easily into that garbage can.
And to activate life force so I can see my life in terms of emotions and energies, and my life story in terms of energies.
That's okay. We did it twice. Take a nice breath. Obviously, somebody needed to do it again.
Yes.
So, all right, let's go on to the next one. And to activate life force so I can have power to clear negative energies and the migraines they create in my life. Take a nice breath. Easy. Bring it in through the top of your head. Let it go all the way down your body to the tips of your toes. Turn it around and blow it out.
By the way, spaciness is an energy that can be cleared.
We clear it occasionally or often, depending on the day. Okay. And to activate life force so I can activate happiness, creativity, being healthy, loving myself, having fun, laughter, joy, and the ability to see what stands in my way. And no matter what it is, I can get rid of it. Some things might take longer than others, but that's okay. Keep on doing it. Take a nice breath. Life force right in through the top of your head. And heal and soothe anything that's hurting in that body right now. Tips of your toes, turn it around and blow it out. So, Jason, what are we going to talk about next week?
Sleep, which is me during the session here. So it's a big, I don't want to make too light of it. It's
not at all.
All problems and challenges that you have in your life are worse when you're having problems sleeping.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to tell you why.
We're going to tell you why. We're going to help you fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
So many people say, I don't know what it is. I just can't go to sleep. It takes me a long time to go to sleep. I don't get any sleep then.
Sleepy foam.
We created this thing called sleepy foam. And it's just basically an energetic technique.
And it works.
It works. Kids
and by the way,
love it.
I was going to say it works on babies real well.
Yes. Parents love it. Everything. Yes.
Okay. This is good.
So tune in for next week. And that's one of the things we're going to talk about next week, which is kind of neat, is as intuitives, we can talk about what's happening in your essence while you're sleeping. So stay tuned for that.
It's kind of fascinating, all of it. So if some part of you gets the importance of clearing your essence with the ecosystem approach, mark your calendar. The Living Lighter Radio is every week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. If you can't listen at that time, our show is recorded, and you can go to our website, www.livinglighter.org, and look for the radio tab. Jason, let's talk about the website and the Living Lighter.
If you tuned in today, I think that's a great idea. If you tuned in today and you have a migraine, or you're having migraines, or someone has migraines, you have a specific intention. But even if there's any problems with your health, relationships, money and work, or even just being happy, the ecosystem approach is perfect for you. And the way to do that is to listen to our radio show every week. Do the clearings at the end, and then get our newsletter, and then do the clearings in the newsletter all during the week. It's on your smartphone, and then go from topic to topic. Now, you can do that by going to our website at www.livinglighter.org. Go to the newsletter tab. All we need is your name and your email address. It's perfectly free. You can get this. And if you have problems with migraines, go and sign up right now so you can get that newsletter for this week.
Exactly. And by the way, I don't have migraines anymore, so I'm very happy with that.
And if you like this show, go like us on Facebook. We're at livinglighter.org on Facebook, and we'll preview the show every week so you can know what's coming up.
If you really want to have your ecosystem work better, you need to make the clearings constantly, consistently, and specifically a part of your life. It will make you'll be able to feel the magic because it is so uncommon today. So don't forget to sign up for our newsletter, and definitely you can even listen to old shows. So we'll connect next week, Monday at 1 p.m. Pacific and 4 p.m. Eastern Time. This is Transformation Talk Radio, and you're listening to Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia.
Wishing you a lifetime of living lighter.
Thank you for listening to Living Lighter Radio with Jason and Patricia. I'm Patricia. We have an ecosystem approach to your life. Tune in weekly as we discuss what's truly holding you back. We offer you the tools you need to reach your goals and at the same time be living lighter. For more information, visit our website at www.livinglighter.org.